Allison.
I know people just keep hopping on, which is awesome. So yay. Okay. Welcome, you guys. We are so pumped for this week 2 of the Summer Success Series. Who out there has connected with their partner? Raise your hand. Yeah, look at all that. Oh my gosh, you guys, it makes me so happy to hear. And hopefully you find some things in common, David Wood style, find 5 things you have in common. Lindsay and I made those, we really paired people up in hopes of finding something in common, whether it's your goal or background or something. So, just another point of contact. I know I absolutely love my collaboration cross-line with various people across the company. So wonderful. So we are here tonight, and I'm so pumped for you guys to hear from my dear friend Barbie Erickson. And if you don't know Barbie is she's a total heart. She was the heart of Isagenix last year. You probably, if you remember seeing her on stage they brought her kids out and surprised her, her kids and her husband, right there on stage just this past New Year's kickoff. So that was just awesome. And I always tell her when she hits millionaire, everyone is just going to be cheering for her so much because she's just done her business with such integrity and alignment and just heart. She truly has. So I'm excited. I've seen the slide, so I literally just wanted to get into it because I'm freaking out, excited for the topic that she's sharing with you guys tonight. So just a little bit about, she comes with a marketing background in corporate life, loyalty marketing. She has 3 little kids. She started this business when they were very, very little, 2 twin boys and a daughter. And she is 3-star Golden Circle, 2-star Crystal Executive, and Start 1000 and Heart of Isagenix. So Barbie, we'll just let you go ahead and take it away. And if you don't follow her, you have to check her out on Instagram. She has a very inspiring story. So, yay.
Sweet. Thank you, Allison. Oh my goodness. I am super excited to share with you guys tonight all about inviting people to take a look. So I just want to also pause. It is Memorial Day today, so I want to make sure that we are acknowledging that it is Memorial Day and that we are truly making sure that we are thanking those that serve the country. So I first want to make sure that we do that. And now I'm excited to jump into sharing how to invite others to take a look. So Gretchen, week 1, talked about creating interest, creating curiosity. And so now I want to jump into, so once you've created that curiosity, how to invite others to take a look. So I am going to share my screen. And Allison, if you can just make sure that just unmute yourself and making sure that you guys can all see this once I get this up.
Yeah, that looks good to me.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so inviting others to take a look and why this is so important. And sometimes this is the key that so many people actually miss. And why it's really important to make sure that you're inviting people to take a look. That gives permission for the conversation to keep going. So the analogy that I like to think about is, imagine you are flirting with someone. And you can flirt with someone for years. You can talk back and forth. You can put a little bit out there. They can respond. But you never know that it's going to go anywhere further than just flirting. If you're going to get a date, if you're going to get to second base, you never know if it's going to go anywhere until you ask that person out. And that is the exact same thing I would say about this, is you can flirt, you can connect, you can create curiosity, you can put it all out there, but until you invite that person to take a look, it's never going to go any further. So hopefully you guys can all relate to that. So you've created interest, you've shared your story, now what? And I think this is a place where a lot of people get weird. And I just encourage you to don't get weird. We do referrals all the time. Think about it. When you tell people that you're going on a vacation, you tell them what hotels did you stay at? What restaurants did you go to? After you see a good movie, you tell people to go see it. So this is referrals. You're just making a recommendation of something that you love, and you are just wanting to share that with others. And I think some of the times we think it's about us. We enter ourselves into the equation all the time, more often than not, and that we have to remember that it's not about us. We are just walking out there, and I use the gum in the elevator analogy. I know that they use this at the Isagenix events a lot, is that if somebody is standing in an elevator and they're like, you want a piece of gum? Do you want a piece of gum? Do you want a piece of gum? You don't take offense when 2 of 3 people tell you no thanks. But then one person, you know, you also don't sit there and jump for joy because one person is saying yes. So I think it's the same thing with Isagenix, is you are just offering a solution and you're asking people to check it out. And so I think so often we take it personally when people say no, that it's not for me, or sometimes we get super, super excited if they're like, yeah, send me a link. So I think it's just making sure that you have them in mind, that it's not about you. So lowering your attachment to the outcome will also then increase your belief and your comfort with putting it out there. They used an analogy at ICU Las Vegas that I thought was so spot on, where they talked about a waitress in a diner, and she offers every single booth, every single table if they want coffee. And she doesn't get offended if the person in the booth says that they don't want it. And they may even be grouchy. They may say, no thanks, I don't drink coffee. You know, and I think we sometimes take people's response that personally, that we think it's about us, but you know, we never know how their day started, or maybe they just don't like coffee. But we also need to make sure that we're not stopping, we're not sharing Isagenix just because one person said no. And you just need to get comfortable with hearing no, or hearing no responses when reaching out to people or asking people to take a look. So the next, Gretchen really talked about creating curiosity and piquing people's interest through social media as well as in person. But one of the things I think we want to talk on too is really direct messaging. So this is direct reach outs can be very intentional. You want to be very intentional about who you're reaching out to. So when you think about people that you want to do Isagenix with, or who could benefit from this, you want to send them a very heartfelt message and let them know why you're thinking of them. So direct messaging is a really good way to be a professional about this. You know, so many people can post on social media and they can walk out with their shaker cup, but really putting your stake in the ground and sending people direct messages and telling them that this is what I love and I would love to share it with you. And really focusing on using a formula. And so I shared a couple messages that I personally have done, but also messages that they shared at ICU Las Vegas that I thought was really cool. So in your message, making sure that you have these 4 components. You're building rapport with the person, that you're not just, you know, copy pasting messages. You want to make sure it's personalized to them as well as the relationship that you have with them. Tell them the reason that you're reaching out to them. Don't be weird. Don't be beating around the bush. If you're really reaching out to them for a reason, say that. And compliment them. People love to be complimented, but be genuine. I said this in my first training when I did this topic is, you know, if you tell somebody that you love their shoes, compliment them on their shoes, you know, or if you say that they love the photos of their vacation that they were on, make sure that you're complimenting them on something that is compliment worthy, if that makes sense. And then if you're asking them to take a look, have that be either the last statement or even the first statement. I really like to make sure that putting it out there and that they know that with, you know, full intention, that my objective is for them to answer that question. Are they open to taking a look? Are they willing to, you know, hop on the phone or grab coffee, whatever it may be, making sure that you are being intentional with the message that you're sharing with them. And this is another thing you could do. We've been doing this for a while. I thought of you because making sure that you're sharing with them why they popped into your mind. If they're popping into your mind for a reason, you thought of them for a specific reason. So making sure that you're sharing that with them as well. And also saying, this may or may not be for you, you know, giving them a way out. But you're also telling them what is so amazing about this, whether it's the nutrition, whether it's the opportunity that you're connecting with them on. Tell them that this may or may not be for you. So you're giving them a way out, but you're also piquing their interest on why you're reaching out to them. And again, would you be open? So many times I think we are spewing out so much information to people when they're not open yet. So really asking if they would be open, and knowing that some people may be ready and some people may not. So that's a little bit of direct messaging. And here are a few key phrases that I like to use. We won't go into detail with these. We can save the PowerPoint out for later for reference. But these are some of the ones that I really like, that I feel like I get a great response from. But again, I always tell people, take what you want and leave what you don't. If something resonates with you, use it. If not, tweak it to your own verbiage of what works for you, what it sounds like for you. Okay, so now that we have their attention, what do you actually share with them? And I think sometimes we don't know exactly how many amazing resources we have from Isagenix that we can share with people. So we all have our private Facebook groups, product groups that we can add people to. Those are amazing. We always talk about how your social media is your storefront, but your private Facebook groups, that's the entryway to your storefront. So we'll go into all of these separately, but I want to let you know that these are the 5 that I'm going to be walking through. But we have amazing, amazing resources that are free with Isagenix. So many people and other network marketing companies don't have as many resources at their fingertips like we do. And also we have done so much work in making all of these resources available for you. So when you're adding someone to your product group, make sure that you're sharing with them that this is a great place for people to learn about the nutrition, the community, the culture, and hearing stories from people. There is so much value in our Facebook product groups, but I want to make sure that you're not just adding people there and leaving them there. Make sure that you're tagging them in a welcome post, or you're welcoming them. You're also you're connecting them with someone who had either similar goals to what they had or what they're looking for. And so you're able to connect them and build that rapport right away and show them that supportive community that we have. I also tag them in a couple documents or photos or stories or transformations that are relevant to what they are looking for. Again, you don't want to overwhelm them and tag them into too many things, but making sure that you're adding value to them. And on adding value, making sure that you yourself are posting in your product groups. Make sure that you are adding value in there, that you are welcoming people, that you are answering questions, because the people that you're adding to that Facebook group will not receive notifications from that group unless you yourself are active. So just some tips around product groups. And then another way is invite them to take a look at a sip and sample or an event. Sip and samples are amazing. These can be called launch parties or whatever, but you and your team should be making sure that you guys are hosting 2 a month. And that can be a broad team, that can be a small team. You can get creative with these events, but also let's not underestimate the power of belly to belly and face to face. We have built an amazing community on like the western side of the Twin Cities area with community. It's absolutely incredible. When we have sip and samples, I've got a girl, Rebecca, on my team that when she has sip and samples, like the whole neighborhood comes. It's amazing. So making sure that you're inviting people to your sip and samples. Community is huge. People come for the products, but a lot of the times they stick around for the community. So making sure that you are hosting them regularly to be able to plug people into. Honestly, the most successful people in Isagenix are still hosting in-home parties. I know a lot of people have gone social media, but really this industry has been built in-home parties, and I still think that there's so much behind in-home parties. But we don't have to have samples. We don't have to have, we basically bring our own inventory. So how amazing is that we can still have sip and samples, but we're not lugging things from our trunk. And get creative with your sip and samples. They don't have to be just regular run-of-the-mill stuff in your home. You can do events in the park. You can do sweat and sips, workouts, protein and Prosecco brunches. I heard about that the other day, and I'm like, oh my goodness, sign me up for Prosecco. We've got a guy on our team, Drew, a shout out to you for doing log rolling. So you can get creative with these local events. The more fun they are, the more people that will turn up. And Super Saturdays in Core 4. I'm not going to go into those because we'll be talking about those in a few weeks. But just don't discount anyone. You never know who could be waiting for you to just invite them. And that is new people, that is customers, that is people who used to be using the products or even sharing the products and aren't anymore. People are just waiting to be invited. And when we say invited, that means personal invitations. Think about how you feel when somebody just mass adds you to a group, or somebody just writes your name or tags you in a post when there's an event coming up. Making sure that we're sending out those personal invitations that make someone feel special. It makes them feel included. It makes them feel, oh yeah, Barbie thought of me. That's super nice. Like making sure you are thinking of people and you are making them feel special and feel wanted and included. These are just a few examples of what our team has done for stuff in the park. Always send out personal ones. Keep the numbers low. When I say keep the numbers low, you don't want to necessarily, be one of 30 or one of like 300 people invited. You want to make sure you're going to really have 300 people in your house. Probably not. So making sure that you're having people feel special when they are invited. And so, when they're not looking at the Facebook event and they're seeing that they're one of 300 people, you want to make sure that they feel special about it and they're not just being mass added to an event. And again, making sure that you're not discounting anyone. I still remember my first 4 Core event. I was sitting across a table from Allison, and I had so many questions about Isagenix, and she's like, just come to Miami with me. It was an ICU in Miami. And I had started the product 8 months prior, and I hadn't ordered anything since. And she just said, just come with me. And I went. And so just making sure that you're not discounting anyone. Situations change. I always tell people you never know what's going on in people's bedrooms or their bank accounts. So make sure that you are always extending that invitation and making sure that it's always a personalized invitation. And these are tools and resources. Again, I mentioned that Isagenix has amazing resources at our fingertips. I want to make sure that you guys all know what these are and you know how to use them. And honestly, so there's an isamovie.com where there's tons of videos on there, anywhere from 2-minute videos to like an hour-long training, but making sure that you know those videos are out there. Videos about weight wellness, performance, healthy aging, vitality and well-being, and wealth creation. There's videos about unpacking your box and how to do a shake day, how to do a cleanse day, making sure that you know all of those videos that are out there, because those are amazing resources that you not only can learn to educate yourself, but also making sure that you provide those as a resource to someone new coming in your team or even somebody that you're asking to take a look. So what I always tell people to do when they are first starting Isagenix and first starting to think about sharing is go to isamovie.com, watch every single video. It'll take you like an hour and a half. That's really not that much time, but making sure that you're going there and you're writing down all of the names of people that pop into your mind as you're thinking and as you're watching those videos, and making sure that you can go back and you could say, I watched this video and I thought of you because like I could just so see you doing this with me. Would you be open to taking a look? So making sure that we know what movies are out there and using those resources to actually reach out to people. I'm sorry, I can't see the chat. So if there is anyone, I'll check it in a second. Okay, so then not only isomovie.com, but we also have isagenixhealth.net. This is amazing, you guys. Not only do they have the search capabilities that you have, or like the segments, the same topics of weight wellness and performance and vitality and well-being and wealth creation within isagenixhealth.net, but you have a search functionality. So if you have someone that has diabetes, or if you have someone that is pregnant, you can actually type in pregnant or diabetic in isagenixhealth.net, and relevant articles, research articles, medical journals, things like that will pop up. It's an amazing, amazing resource, especially if you are talking to someone who is very interested in the nutrition side of things. I feel like I always know a little bit about every single product, so I can speak to it. But isagenixhealth.net is an amazing resource if you have someone who's curious more about the ingredients or the integrity behind each product. That is an amazing resource that you can send to somebody who's interested in taking a look. Okay, and if you have shared this opportunity and there's somebody that is looking at not only the nutrition but also the opportunity, isagenixbusiness.com is an incredible, incredible resource, you guys. So I just think that anybody who is interested in exploring this opportunity, the training, the podcast, the videos, the compensation plan trainings that we have at our fingertips, I mean, I could get lost in this website for hours, I swear, but there's so much great content out there that it's at our fingertips. So nobody ever has any excuse of saying, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to find this. It's just a matter of knowing which resources to be able to be plugged into. So make sure that you are well-versed on isomovie, isagenixhealth.net, and isagenixbusiness.com. There's say, share, do scripts in there. So I gave you some ideas of verbiage that I like to use, but there's seriously scripts that people can have at their fingertips in order to be able to direct message people or follow up with people, which we'll do actually next week. So, so many amazing resources in isagenixbusiness.com. And the last way to ask someone to connect or inviting them to take a look is connecting them with somebody else. You should be a collector of stories on your team. I know Allison started when she was pregnant. She used the products while she was nursing and then for another pregnancy. So I know that she has that background. I know that my girlfriend Emily doesn't have a thyroid, and so how she uses the products with that. So be a collector of stories of people on your team, because the people that you're connecting with and sharing Isagenix with, they may have questions, or they may know, want to know, has anybody had success with Isagenix with type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes? But if you know the people on your team, you can connect them and say, you know what, I don't have experience with that, but my friend Jen does, or my friend Rebecca does. And making sure that you are connecting them as not only third-party validation for them, but you're already showing them the supportive community that they have. So I don't underestimate the power of three-way calls. I feel like they are one of the most underutilized tools that we have, because so many people want to know that, will this work for me? And they want to hear other stories that are similar to their own, success stories that are similar to own, that they've known from people that, have lost 100 pounds, or, have just had more energy, that have 3 kids under 2. I mean, I'm a perfect example of it. So making sure that we are connecting people, whether it's a 3-way call or even a 3-way message. I know people make the excuses that people don't want to get on the phone anymore, but connecting people 3-way messages, through text messages, through Facebook Messenger, whatever it may be, just making sure that we're showing them that community, that we can support them, whatever their goal may be. And I always tell people, don't necessarily use 3-way call, but just telling them you like to connect them with a friend that's had similar goals to them, because that's what they really want to hear, and that's what they really want to know. And so those are the different ways that you can invite people to take a look. I know that's so much information, but Jay Bennett says, and he is one of the top income earners with Isagenix, he always says, if you can master any skill in network marketing, it's the ability to ask someone to take a look. We can flirt all we want. We can build a relationship all we want, but you want to make sure that you are being efficient, that you are being effective, and you are actually taking it to that next level and asking them to take a look. So that's what I have to share tonight. I am going to actually stop sharing. I'm going to actually look and see if I can see the chat. I want to make sure I'm answering everyone's questions. I'll stop sharing. Here we go. Yes, watching all the movies. Yes, awesome. Honestly, you guys, this is my favorite thing to do. Inviting people to take a look, because you never know. And I honestly, I ask everyone to take a look. I invite everyone and their grandma to our private Facebook groups, just because I feel like that's how you actually invite them into the community. And that's how you show them the support that they're going to get. That's where they see the transformations. I always tell people your private Facebook groups are amazing, but you yourself need to make sure that you're adding value, that you're following up. And I'm so glad that we're going to be having the series call about follow-up after this, because I feel like that's the key too. Once you invite someone to take a look, it's not just hanging there. You have to follow up. So I love all of these different ways to invite people to take a look. Figure out what works for you. But I feel like everybody needs to make sure that they need to know that they have all these resources at their fingertips. That's all I have for you. And look at that.
That's awesome. Good job with the timing. So does anyone have any questions? If you do, you can throw them in the chat. I'll ask Barbie, how many e-shots did you have today?
That's not a question you can ask publicly.
Okay, just checking.
Hey, I'm actually only on 3.
Yeah, only. Did you hear that? She's like a 3 to 4 person. Only. Only 3.
I have.
Good job.
I love that, Barbie.
Any questions?
I had a quick question.
Yeah, Becky, go.
In terms of the, reaching out to people, how often are you doing that with, you say having authentic relationships with these people. Are you saying, or do you do this with people that you've developed relationships through Instagram that you haven't necessarily met? Are these people that you've had connections with and Isagenix has come up, but not necessarily, like you said, you've flirted, but they've never really asked you specifically about it? Can you give us a little bit more details on that?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like in the early part of my Isagenix career, I flirted for a really long time because I wasn't comfortable. I wasn't comfortable asking them to take a look, but I started realizing that if I'm not going to ask them to take a look, somebody else is going to. Because if they have characteristics, if they have qualities that I am drawn to, that I would love to work with them with, whether it's nutrition or the opportunity, I think to myself, if I am drawn to this person, they're going to hear about Isagenix from someone else. And so I would rather have me at least put the bug in their ear first. And that's why I always say, this may or may not be for you right now, but if you're ever open, I would love to chat with you more about this, because honestly, girl, I would love to do this with you. And I'll say all the time, you see the people that I'm with, I hang out with my Isagenix family all the time, and I see you here. I would love to do this with you. And I always say, even if it's not right now, even if it's 5 years from now, 2 years from now, whatever it may be, I would love to just chat with you more. That's kind of my answer for it. I don't know, Lindsay or Allison, if you have any other thoughts around that.
Thank you, Barbie. That's super helpful. I love that.
Yeah.
Barbie, you have a magic way of building all of our confidences. So thank you so much. We all need it.
Yeah, you guys, that was amazing. And just be brave. What's the worst that could happen? They think, no, I'm not interested in the coffee right now. But I think sometimes, and we talked about this, Barbie, we can post and think we're inviting people in, but they don't feel the invitation until it's one-on-one personal to them. You know, like she could have seen that I went to Miami, but it was me saying, just come. I would love to do this with you. I have a hotel room. We'll have fun. Let's go together. Like that intro to Miami is why she said yes. She wouldn't, if I would have just put on my wall, anyone want to go with me to Miami? She never would have said yes. It was the personal. So yeah, I think that's awesome.
And I think sometimes so many people put it out there on social media, and it seems as though we're not inclusive. And I want to make sure that you're aware of that too, because by an outsider looking in, you may think that Becky's got all these beautiful friends, or Allison's got this group of girls that she hangs out with. But I always remember one of the things that Emily Vavra says is she reached out to Holly DeMott, who enrolled her, and asked if her company was hiring. And I always want to make sure that people know I'm hiring, that you don't have to look a certain type, the invitation is always there, but people never really feel like they're invited unless you actually send them an invitation or invite them to a sip and sample. Or, you know, I think we put it out there on social media to show people what we do and what we love, the community, the culture that we have. But again, you want to make sure that you have that personalized invitation into that community and that culture.
That's beautiful. And I think like you think about the Herb Cepedas, Jay Bennett's, Lynn Hagedorn's, people who have done this tried and true business law, without social media, social media is always evolving. So it's the tried and true sort of gateway drug that Jay Bennett would talk about, right?
Yeah.
So good. Okay. Cool. Paulette asked, where's the call going to be? We will put it up in our groups, right, Lindsay? Yes, we'll totally post it in the groups, as she'll give her time to get it uploaded, and then we'll post the link in the groups. And we hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their evening for Memorial Day. Barbie, you did amazing. Thank you so much for your knowledge. And those of you who are going to be in Minneapolis this weekend, you will hear her train on the comp plan on stage. Yay, so excited. So hope you all have a great rest of your week, and get with your partners, practice your stories, invite people to take a look this week, and share